Welcome, everybody, to the Less is More Sports Talk podcast, the podcast that's happy to be here, but hopes we're able to wrap up before the headgear pick. And today on the Less is More Sports Talk podcast, we have a very special episode, but we're not going to tell you not to do drugs or anything because you should already know that. We are here to talk about the college football draft, which, like a fantasy sports, Les and I did this a couple years ago. I don't do fantasy sports, so I completely had no idea what I was doing. But Les and Ryan are going to make some picks for their fantasy team if they were doing college football, the way they play it on their video game, which, man, it feels like it's been like 3 years since that came out and not 2 months. So we flipped a coin off screen, and Ryan has won the first overall pick in the college football player draft. So we're going to play the jingle because we hope his pick is in. So, Ryan, without further ado, who is your number one overall pick? And I have to do the jingle. Do 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 do. All right, Ryan.
With my first pick of the Less is More Sports College Football player draft, I will be, you know, for fantasy football, you're not supposed to take a quarterback first, and I'm gonna follow those rules. I'm gonna go with running back Ashton Genty from Boise
Oh,
State.
oh, oh,
I've been saying
oh,
I've been saying
oh.
that he's the best running back in college football. Y'all haven't heard me. The stats are showing it. He destroyed Oregon. Um, if it wasn't for some late kickoff returns and special team plays, they would have won. But yeah, Ashton Genty's just different. Y'all haven't heard me. I've been the one saying it the whole time.
That's true.
Uh,
You've been his biggest proponent on this podcast.
so I'm going with Ashton Genty.
And now I already know who Les is going to take because he's like the number one water boy for Ollie Gordon. He loves Ollie Gordon. And since Ryan took his guy Ashton Genty, who I know he loves those Boise State Broncos. I know Les is now going to make the safe pick and take his beloved Ollie Gordon from Oklahoma State, right, Les?
Absolutely not. I think me and Ryan got a fight now, low key.
It is
Hopefully you have a plan B.
I have concepts of a plan.
All right.
concepts of a plan.
I have
God's plan.
concepts of a plan. Yeah, I'm
God's,
God's plan. That's right.
Les is
yeah.
not feeling. Sometimes Les feels good, and sometimes he don't. This is one of the don'ts.
No, I do have a plan B. Normally, like Ryan said, you don't want to take a quarterback number one overall in a fantasy football draft, but because this is a draft of college football 25 players, I think it's pretty safe because we're not actually keeping tallies on points. This is just drafting the best players that we play with on a video game. And I got to go with the best quarterback on the game, in my opinion, and that is Nico Iamaleava from Tennessee.
I figured you were taking that. You talked about him in another episode. He is pretty fun to use.
Plus, they
He,
are the real UT, so you've got to go with the real UT.
bro, y'all woke up and chose violence today. I ain't gonna lie.
I appreciate the violence, man. That's a lot of fun. Okay. So Les goes with the quarterback. Ryan goes with the ultimate betrayal at his number one overall pick.
I'm not mad at it though. I'm not.
I knew you wouldn't be mad. It's just like the ultimate betrayal. I love it. All right, Ryan, you're up again. Who are you taking?
Um, I'm looking through my roster and seeing who I want to take the second pick. With I'm gonna go wide receiver. I'm gonna take Tetaroa T Mac McMillan. He's a very tall receiver from Arizona. Played last night. He had a actually solid game. Arizona just
Yeah,
I don't know. They just
they
they
got
just got
Kansas
destroyed.
Stated.
Yeah. He had over like 130 yards last night, but he's a very tall receiver at 6'5". You can throw it up to him. He has a 96 overall jump, and he's a 94 overall player. And there's so many good receivers to pick, but I've used him, and I really like using him because um he's fast and he's very tall. So you throw it up to that boy.
Oh my goodness.
Throw it up to that boy.
Okay, Les, who are you taking with your second overall pick?
all jokes aside, even though I'm the one who advocates for Ashton Genty being the best running back in college football, I do got to say there is a player who is still a very good running back in college football, but on the game rivals Ashton Genty as the best running back in the game, and that is Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love. Dude is an absolute cheat code. He's fun to play with and an absolute headache to play against. So that's who's going to be my second pick is Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love.
Did you say love or low?
Love.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying to keep a list so we can post it for the people watching later.
Oh, I'm doing that too.
Okay, good. We'll compare notes afterwards and see if we.
Well, I'm doing that too.
We're all doing it.
Okay, sure.
We're all
Ryan.
just doing it.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. We're all just doing it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Speaking of Ryan, the ball is back in your court. Who are you taking third overall?
I'm gonna go running back again. I'm gonna go with the greatest running back of all time, Ollie Gordon the second. I think. Highest rated running back in the game, 96 overall, with 97 acceleration. He's very fun to use. You can do a whole drive with you. Just give it to my man Ollie. But yeah, that is my second running back, Ollie Gordon, and I was gonna pick Quinshon Judkins, but they kind of toned down the spin move, so it's not as like lethal now. So I'm gonna go with Mr. Ollie.
That is a terrible pick.
No,
That is a
No.
terrible pick.
no, this is not real life. This is a college football game.
It's still a terrible pick. I lock
He's-
that dude up every time. You know
he's
how many
not
times
going-
I've played against Oklahoma State and locked him up like Akon?
Well, you're playing the CPU on freshman mode.
Hey, now.
I'm just kidding.
You ain't
I
got to
don't know
call
what
me
that
out like
means,
that.
But okay.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
He's not going against Devondre Sweat, so
No.
He's not. That's a fair point. That is probably the fairest of fair points.
All right, Les. Who's your third overall pick, buddy?
Well, because Ryan took Ashton Genty, it's only right that I got to get him back. And I'm really surprised that he hasn't picked him yet because, much like in real life, he is an absolute cheat code in the game and an absolute star in the making. And I'm going to go with the freshman wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith.
dang it.
Les, why are you picking everybody named Jeremiah?
Actually, yeah, half my team is Jeremiah. That's going to be my fantasy football name is Jeremiah team or Jeremiah Jones.
Team Jeremiah.
The Jeremians.
The Jeremians. Hey, I like it. The Jeremians.
Join the Jeremians and their leader left.
The Demure Jeremiahs.
Oh, he went there. My
The
girlfriend would be
Mindful
very proud of me.
Jeremians. That's a pretty good one. The Mindful Jeremians.
I still like the Jeremians the
The
best.
Jeremians. It's plain, it's simple, it's to the point. The Jeremians. So now that we move on from our Jeremian roots, who are you taking with your fourth pick, Ryan? You've got two running backs and a receiver so far.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my second receiver. I'm gonna go with Luther Burden. He's a dog. From Missouri. Luther Burden, actually the third. Sorry, he's a 94 overall with 94 speed, 95 acceleration. He's very fun to use. And yeah, I will be going with Luther Burden the third.
Anytime somebody says like he's a dog, it's just like, what is he, Airbud?
Y'all ever seen that one podcast where I can't think of dude's name, but it's like an SEC podcast it's a radio show, and a caller called in trying to convince the host that Will Levis was a good quarterback. And then he's talking about how he only has like one game over 200 yards in SEC play in 2 years. And then the caller just goes, yeah, but he got that dog in him. And dude just like, what the hell does that even mean? He's like, was he going to start barking?
That sounds
That's
like
the funniest clip I've ever seen, dude.
It's like the picture, like the ribs, and it's like a dog just in the ribs. That's
Matt
Will
actually
Levis.
used that meme on the show, which is funny.
I did. It was a beautiful moment for us all.
It was. It was one of our better moments on the show, maybe.
I would say so. All right, Les, you've got a quarterback, a wide receiver, and a running back, but who are you taking with the all-important fourth pick?
It was a very, very tough decision. Not really, because you only knew it was a matter of time before I started picking Texas or Duke players. And I'm going to go with a wide receiver here. And I'm going to go with Matt's favorite wide receiver on the Texas roster, Isaiah Bond.
Aww.
Isaiah Bond is a cheat code in that game, dude. Every time somebody lines up in man coverage, I just switch it to a seam route and just throw it deep, and it is automatic every time. That's like the most unstoppable play in the game for me right now is man coverage on Isaiah Bond's seam route. He's like a 98 overall speed. You're not catching him. And literally, he is 007 Isaiah Bond. They call him Bond, Isaiah Bond.
The only thing that would make it better is if his name was Jeremiah.
Well, for team concept, yes.
All right, Ryan, who are you taking with your? I think we're up to 5 picks now. Wow.
I'm gonna go ahead and honestly get my tight end out of the way because I didn't see a ton of like tight ends, and to be honest, whenever I play, I don't use tight end a ton. I'm gonna go with Fumble Boy Colson Loveland, who literally fumbled the ball against Texas without even being touched. Pretty impressive, if you ask me. But 92 overall and 87 speed, which is pretty good for a tight end and big tall tight end. So I'm gonna go with Colson Loveland as my tight end.
Can we just patent the name Fumble Boy on the show? That's awesome. I love it.
Fumble Boy.
Fumble Boy.
We should have the weekend make a song called Fumble Boy.
How would that even go?
It's just Star Boy, but instead it's just I'm a fumble boy.
I'm a fumble boy. I don't know. That don't hit the same.
It
Unless
doesn't. No.
unless you're playing Michigan.
It's a motherfucking fumble. Oh, whoops.
You're the only one that says this is a family show, Matt. Just to let you know.
I know. Well, we all have our slip ups every once in a while. All right, Les, who are you taking with your 5th pick?
This is where it gets tough.
Jeremiah or Wusu Kamoa?
I'm gonna go with my flex.
Oh, flexing.
I'm literally flexing. And this is the best slot receiver in the game to me, and that is LSU's wide receiver Kyron Lacy. Dude is just automatic over the middle. It's pretty solid. Literally flexing with this pick, with my flex pick. Why the hell did my list try to autocorrect it to Karen Lacey?
No, that happened to me too. I got something even worse. I got Krusk Lacey.
Like Crust?
Famous World War II battlefield. Krusk.
Oh, you Krusk. I thought you said crust. Like you were knocking the crust off of a sandwich.
Yeah. I think it's actually pronounced Kursk. I'm just not thinking, so it's like
I thought you said crust like pizza crust.
No. More fancy than that, but also incredibly nerdy.
Fair enough.
All right, Ryan, who are you taking with your 6th pick?
I'm gonna get my quarterback now. I'm gonna go with Jalen Milroe. Very fast, um very fast move around the pocket. He still throws a dart whenever he throws the ball. Last night I was playing against Bama, and of course I was using Ohio State, and this guy just did straight runs to the left and right with Milroe, and it was so annoying because he was get the blocking he wanted. He had over like 130 yards of rushing just with Milroe, and his running back was blocking too. And he's the same guy that probably uses Lamar Jackson in like Madden 21. But yeah, I'd like to do that now. So I'm gonna go with Jalen Milroe as my quarterback.
All right, Les. He's picked his quarterback. You picked yours way back at pick number 1. So who are you taking 6th overall?
I'm going to go ahead and take my tight end out of the picture here. And, it's crazy because even though this is a video game, when I play this video game, I have to say that this guy might even be better than the guy he's replacing if we're just judging a video game. Obviously, real life, no way in hell. But on the video game, Oscar Delp of Georgia might just be better than Brock Bowers. So that's going to be my tight end pick.
No, I'm not surprised by that one because I remember last year when you and I did this, I thought that Oscar Delp would be like Georgia's X Factor because people would be paying so much attention to Brock Bowers that they're neglecting that they have like another really good tight end just hiding just off screen. So I would think that's a good pick. All right, Ryan, you've got two pick. Well, three, I think. Are we doing kicker or not?
Yeah, we're doing
Yeah.
kicker.
We're doing kicker. Okay, so you've got three picks left. So make it count. What you got?
With my flex, and this is based on because of his speed, I'm gonna go with Barryon Brown from Kentucky. He's got 98 speed. Uh, he's not the fastest player in the game, but 98 is like pretty amazing for receiver. He can burn a lot of DBs. Just set him on a go route, throw it up, he'll catch it, and he's also a really, really good returner. Showed that against Louisville last year.
That
But
is
yeah, I'm
true.
gonna go with Barryon Brown from Kentucky.
All right, Les, who are you going to take?
I'm going to take a running back. And I'm not going to lie, I haven't played with this guy much because why the hell would you want to play with this team on a college football game, especially with how they're looking so far in the regular season? Um, because literally, when you think of this school's athletic program, you definitely think of the basketball team. You don't think of the football team. And even though the football team had decent expectations this year, they're very, very much underachieving. But the one time I did play with this dude on the game, he was automatic. And that's Kansas running back Devin Neal.
Kansas. Yeah, that game against Illinois last week was incredibly weird. But yeah, it looks like Kansas may underachieve this year with losses to UNLV and Illinois already. So
Yeah, he had a first good or he had a good first half last night, but I knew the game was over whenever they could not pick up a fumble. Did y'all see that?
Yes.
yes,
Went
I
around
did
the
see
whole
that.
I
field.
literally am watching that. Like, what are you all doing? Like, bounced off so many people's hands. Like,
It really was
just
impressive.
just land on the ball.
All right, so I think we're down to defenses and kickers. So Ryan, which one are you going to take first, and how, and why? Left.
Um, I'm gonna save kicker for last. In honestly, I in fantasy football drafts, I usually pick defense first, but at the very end, obviously. But I'm
Right.
gonna go with the highest rated defense in the game, and that is the Ohio State Buckeyes. 96 overall rating, four players in the 90s, highlighted by Caleb Downs at a 95. It's it's very tough to run against the defensive line and linebackers, very athletic linebackers. Uh, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ohio State as my defense.
All right, Les, who are you going to take now with your either defensive or kicking pick?
I got the first very shock pick of this draft, which I'm impressed that it happened all the way at the second to last pick of the draft.
Which is good.
And you don't, and obviously you don't think of this team as being one of the best defenses in college football, especially with how they looked their first 2 weeks of the season. But when I play with them on this game, they're the only team that I forced multiple shutouts with. And they just get better and better when I play with them on my dynasty mode. And I'm going to go with the Boise State Broncos as my defense.
It's not as shocking when you consider we're doing video games, though, because if you had said that like we were just listing the best defenses, and you had said that over like I don't know Alabama or any other big school, it would be like, oh wow, that is. But I feel like since we're doing video games, you control what's going on.
For sure. And like not gonna lie, like when you have two pass rushers on the edge, like Ahmad Hassan and Jaden Virgin Morgan, not to mention you have an outside linebacker like Andrew Simpson, like it's once like stacking the box is so easy. And like you quarterbacks can't even get a pass off and they can't run on that team. So
Right.
yeah, I'm money with Boise State's defense. Like I've upset so many big teams with their defense alone.
And then you hand the ball off to Ashton Genty, but wish you had Ollie Gordon.
I don't have Ashton Genty anymore. He went pro.
Oh no. Well, I forget I'm
But
dynasty.
John Briss Dunbar is picking up the slack. He's got like 1,200 yards and like 20 touchdowns too. And
It's my
Malachi
first.
Nelson, which is so anticlimactic given real life events, but Malachi Nelson has become an absolute star.
He still has a chance. He still has a chance. That's the
Just
beauty.
not with Boise State. You know he's going transfer.
Probably. Maybe he'll be the next great Indiana quarterback. Who knows? All right,
We'll
Brian, who are
see.
you taking with your kicking pick?
He was mentioned earlier by you all. I'm gonna go Graham Nicholson, who got stolen, like Miami, Ohio would say it, to Bama. Now he's on Bama. I really wanted Ohio State to get him because we are kind of not great in our kicking aspect. But yeah, I'm gonna go with him. And honestly, I tried to look up kicking ratings and I couldn't find any. So I just went with one of the highest, or one of the best, most accurate kickers in the game is Graham Nicholson, formerly on Miami, Ohio, now on Alabama.
Les, Brian and I already know who your kicking pick is. We discussed it before. But for the fans watching at home, who are you taking with your final pick, Les? Prepare to be shocked, people.
Yes, prepare to be shocked because I'm going to take Texas kicker Bert Auburn.
Great
I
name.
know, a shock to absolutely everybody.
Is a great name,
He
Bert is
does.
a great name.
and he's
Not as
got nice.
not as cool as Colt McCoy. That's the coolest name in the history of college football. Who also played for Texas.
I don't
I don't
know. And
know.
Dominican Sue's up there, too.
I don't know. General Booty's up there just because he went to Oklahoma.
He's
And
down.
there's a player on I don't know what school it is, named Dude Person.
Now that's pretty awesome.
No one remembers the coldest Crawford.
I remember all of them. Mobility, um, Dude Person, General Booty,
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
yeah, Octavian Oxendine, who still plays.
Haha, Clinton Dix.
That is a great name.
He was a great secondary guy, too. So, Bert, Bert works, but I wish like the holder's name was Ernie or something.
Bert and Ernie. I dig it.
Or the punter has to be Ernie or something. They could be roommates and just make each other's life a living hell. And
Ernie.
so, with the pick selection of Bert Auburn, our Mr. Irrelevant, the 2024 video game college football Les versus Ryan draft is now complete. I'm assuming we're going to post the teams online somewhere so that way you all can vote and tell us whose team was better as Ryan is sliding off the camera screen into something. It's just like he was falling asleep slowly and steadily. Um, we'll put those somewhere on the social media accounts so that way you all can vote and tell us who drafted the better team or whose team you're picking to play with in College Football 25. I don't know exactly what we're going to do now. So, Les, do you have any thoughts? Do you want to close the show out or?
I was hoping that you would have a little bit to say about the revitalization of the Pac-12 conference.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, for those of you who aren't in the know, and it was all over Twitter, so you've probably seen the Pac-12 is trying to reinvent itself, adding 4 teams from the Mountain West, including Les's beloved Boise State Broncos, along with Colorado State, San Diego State. Basically, if your school has state in it, it's pretty much joining the Pac-12 along with Oregon and Washington State. Which brings us to the next question of, in order to be a conference by 2026, they have to add 2 more teams. To which I say, and I saw it on Twitter as well, we need to build the ultimate West Coast Conference. I'm talking about getting North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Air Force, UNLV, uh, San Jose State, bring them in, Idaho, get some of those upper tier FBS programs out there, bring them into the fold. Why just merge the Mountain West and the Pac-12 at this point? Add those top-tier FBS teams, and you've got yourself a conference that's just as fun as the original Pac-12 After Dark. We've seen that North Dakota State can hang with the big boys. They hung with Colorado, almost beat them. If it hadn't been possibly for some weird timeout situations, Air Force has been known to have their good years. They run that beautiful triple option, just like Army and Navy, their siblings. And UNLV football, it's back and it looks pretty damn good. So why not, if you're looking to, just create the ultimate West Coast Conference? You know, somebody posted where they add Weber State and Sacramento State, and I'm like, we don't need to get that far yet. We just need 12 really solid West Coast programs so we can have Pac-12 After Dark back, and we can have a fun conference if we do that. Who knows? Maybe they add New Mexico too. That's just going to be a fun conference, and unless he's pretty much right here when he says Boise State would probably run that in football. I agree, but I like it if they did that from a basketball standpoint because I don't know who would run that conference from a basketball standpoint. I don't. It would just be a really fun, competitive West Coast basketball conference. So, yeah, Pac-12 is now the Pac-6. They're the Pac-6 pack. They're looking to add two more teams. We don't know who those will be, but I am advocating for the creation of a West Coast new conference with Wyoming, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Air Force, Colorado State, Nevada, New Mexico, UNLV, Fresno State, San Diego State, San Jose State, you name it. If it's got state and it's out west, I want it in the new conference, the new Pac 12. It's coming, and it could be really exciting because whenever something that seismic happens, it means we're going to have other conference moves too.
I got a hot take for you.
What's that?
Because, like we talked about off the camera and briefly on this episode, with the current state of the newly added Pac 12, we all know Boise State's going to run that conference. But to avoid that, and I even think geographically this would have a cool little setup, wouldn't make any sense for travel at all. But I say we finally give Notre Dame an excuse to stop being cowards and join a conference and have Notre Dame join the Pac 12 conference. Have them and Boise State duke it out for the Pac 12 title every year. And now I know most at home might be thinking, oh, well, Notre Dame just going to run through Boise State every year. Well, as we saw against Northern Illinois last week, that is not always the case. In big time games over the last decade, Notre Dame has decided to choke. So I don't think it would be as set in stone as one would think. And given the current conference realignments, geography does not matter anymore. We got Cal and Stanford in the ACC now and all kinds of other things. So geography doesn't matter. If there's money to be made, the committee's going to vote that direction. And besides, stop being cowards, Notre Dame. Join a conference. That is all I have to say about that.
There's cowardice and then there's stupidity. And Notre Dame joining the new Pac 12 would be about the most stupid thing I can imagine. I could understand if they joined the ACC or the Big Ten or even the SEC. But my God, I think Notre Dame would not have much fun joining a conference with Washington State and Oregon State and San Diego State when they're used to playing whoever the hell they want. I think they'd like to stick. I think they'd rather stick to playing whoever the hell they want. That's just wild.
It is. Like I said, it was a hot take. It wasn't a lukewarm take. It was a hot take.
No, that was about as hot as you can get.
It was more or less just an excuse for me to call Notre Dame cowards for not joining a conference, low key.
Okay, well that I understand.
How would Bill Walton think of this?
He'd be fine with it. He'd just study up the folklore of or the folklore and history of Boise, Idaho, and start ranting about potatoes.
I was about to say we're going to get like an hour-long segment on the history of potatoes.
You see, the potato, it's a gift from the Mother Earth, and if you don't treat it correctly, you'll reap a horrible harvest, Dave. And then he just eats a raw potato in one bite.
Or for San Diego State, he's going to go in the history of the Aztecs.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
That would be beautiful.
See, the history of human sacrifice is a little overrated, Dave. And although the god of death, Texaplatl, is amazing, we have to take into account that this was reported by biased European views who did not exactly know what they were watching. And the Pyramid of the Sun is so much more than a Pyramid of Death, Dave. But also, there were no Aztecs in San Diego. That's what drives me the most crazy about this, Dave.
You do that Bill Walton impersonation a little too well.
I am just like Bill Walton reincarnated. I've been told that many times.
You know what's funny about that, Matt, is that I've been noticing, do you have a bump on the side of your head?
Yes, I do.
Holy
It's
shit.
always been there. It's a big cyst.
Oh, I've never noticed it till just now.
It's because I'm going baldless. There, are you happy?
No, because I'm right there with you. I'm on that bald in 5 years
No,
plan.
I know you are. I'm just giving you a hard time. But yeah, I've used to be able to cover it over with my hair. But as I've gotten older, it started to pronounce itself a little bit more. But yeah, I've always had that bump.
I was about to make a joke that Matt got hit in the head and now he thinks he's Bill Walton.
No, I've always thought I was Bill Walton. I didn't need a bump in the head for that.
Fair enough. But why do you think I wear a hat every episode? That's to hide the bald spot.
Oh,
It's okay. You can take it off.
No, I'm good, bro.
I do have a lot of hats. I just don't wear hats that often. Usually, I only.
Bean got involved. He heard Ryan talking shit about his daddy, and now you got to face the wrath of Bean.
Bean better not go bald.
Bean actually, the side of Bean's head is actually thinning out.
Well, actually, it disappeared into the background, so that's even scarier. He's disappearing, dude.
Now he's here, now he's not.
Yeah.
Bean is very sneaky.
Bean heard you talking shit. Now it's gonna get BANANAS.
I like it.
Beananas. Oh god.
Beananas.
Oh,
we're getting beananas up in here.
Oh my gosh. But
The
yeah,
thing
I mean,
come up with on the show.
I think Bill Walton would enjoy, like, especially if they added like Hawaii. Can you imagine, like, to that conference? He'd just go nuts if he were here. I need to replace Bill Walton. That's all I'm learning right now.
Yeah, I think we should just fill out. We should sign a petition to make Matt the new Bill Walton, the new star commentator of the Conference of Champions.
And I just get to eat like lit cupcakes and have the time of my life. Even though I'm not the biggest Grateful Dead fan, so I don't know if I could qualify. But I do know a lot about random folklore and things that happen in places. So ESPN or whoever ends up taking this media rights deal, give me a ring. I'd be happy to do it.
So that's what I'm hearing. If you're watching at home, please sign the petition to make Matt the new face of the newly Pac-12 conference.
The new Pac-12 pack.
The 12 pack.
I am very much into this.
Ooh, you know what we could nickname it after a while, after you establish your brand? The Matt Pack.
I like that. That would actually be a lot of fun.
Matt has more nicknames than I think I have friends.
That's probably not true, but I'll accept it and say thank you.
Okay, well, look, just the ones you have on this show: Dark Matter, Mid-Major Matt, the Matt Pack.
Demat.
I feel like there's more that I'm forgetting.
Demat.
Demat.
I forgot about that one.
So we're already up to 4.
I know. I don't have any.
There's like a million more.
I don't have any in real life though, so that's what makes it weird.
I'll be your friend.
Oh my gosh.
But
well, I guess Matt in and of itself is a nickname because my name's actually Matthew. So
that doesn't count. That's just your real name shortened. That's like me saying Les is a nickname.
Well, I thought. Wait, your name's not Les?
I mean, it's short for Leslie. Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that. I just thought your name was Les.
You know, no. A lot of people think that, but no.
I just thought your name was Les. I didn't know there was a Leslie involved.
Well,
I'm
nice
actually
to meet
a
you.
fourth.
No judgment.
I'm a fourth.
Oh, okay. I was almost the third, so I feel that pain.
You just call me Quad.
Leslie.
Well, that's why my mom didn't do it. Is she didn't want people to call me Trey.
Why? Trey's a cool name.
No, well, my name would have been Frank.
No.
So.
Frank?
Yeah.
Trey. Well, Trey would be so much better than Frank.
Mid-major Frank.
Mid-major
Frank. It doesn't
Frank.
have the same ring to it, does it? There's no alliteration.
Freaky Frank.
Yeah, that's not a good thing, Les. That's close to Freaky Fred. We're getting into Courage the Cowardly Dog materials here, man.
I mean, that would just fit the show.
It would be. Being is Courage-esque.
Do we have any upsets this weekend at all?
Do we?
I don't know. Anytime I think a game's going to be good, it ends up being a shit show. So I'm giving up on that.
Dude, last week we all were excited for a multitude of games, and they all ended up being shit. I was very excited for that Tennessee-NC State game, and then that just
and then they won by 31.
Yeah, that ended very quickly.
So I'm not going to call any game anything anymore. I'm just going to watch and pray that something good happens.
I was excited for Texas-Michigan, and that went in my favor.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I was excited for even Nebraska and Colorado, and look what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was excited for that too, but actually, no, I thought Nebraska was going to pull away after a while.
I thought
Nebraska was going to be closer.
Yeah, me too. I was expecting like a 35-34 game, and instead it's just like, nope. One of the worst pick sixes I've ever seen, and Nebraska's off to the races.
Is Memphis over Florida State maybe the most likely upset pick here?
I would say so because I think Memphis is underrated, and Florida State is freaking desperate. If they start 0-3, I mean, they might as well just Mike Norvell might as well just go ahead and clean out his office if he starts 0-3.
Or how do we feel about Notre Dame and Purdue?
That's what I said earlier.
Yeah,
You
I
never
know
know.
Ryan said it earlier, and I'm bringing it back. I'm rehashing it.
You never know. I mean, I've seen things about. Well, we'll see what happens with Marcus Freeman, but people are saying that, oh, Urban Meyer's gonna go be the coach in Notre Dame.
That would be a great podcast topic.
It would be, but for another episode.
He
All
would
I
just
know
have
is
to stop kicking kickers.
And he doesn't want the Jags job to be his last thing. He wants to. At least that's what I think.
it's
He
objectively funnier if this Jags job is the last thing, though. Come on, we got to admit.
what was the
That
kicker's
would
name
just
again?
what was his name? That's sad that that's how he's known. That's how he's
He's
remembered as
just
the
the guy
guy
Urban
Urban Meyer
Meyer
kicked. He's the guy Urban Meyer kicked.
because my mind immediately goes to Josh Scobie, and I'm like, no, that guy retired in like 2013.
I'm about to Google which kicker did
Doing
Urban
it.
Meyer kick.
Which kicker was kicked by Urban Meyer? No, the only thing I know about
It
Purdue is
was Josh Lambo.
Josh Lambo. Oh, that
I
guy.
remember.
The only
Matt,
thing I
how did
know,
we forget that? Because of how many game-winning kicks Josh Lambo's hit against the Colts.
well, that's why we don't remember. It's because we want to forget.
That's fair.
Just like
Speaking of the
tomorrow,
Colts, hey, speaking of the Colts, how about that throw AR made week 1?
that was beautiful. But I'm definitely afraid of tomorrow with no secondary, even if it is Malik Willis in Green Bay with no Blackman. We're starting Ronnie Harrison and Nick
Isn't
Cross.
Juju Brents hurt too?
Yes, he's hurt too. So they're
That's gonna
calling
be
up a
fun.
dude they just signed from like San Francisco's practice squad, and it's just like, look,
And
if the pass rush doesn't get to Malik Wills, it's over.
they just like changed the turf at Lucas Oil because everyone was slipping.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was kind of weird too.
that was a pretty common trend against I feel like the whole first week of the NFL season because I saw that happen a lot. But I mean,
Yeah,
it makes sense. You change the turf right before the season starts. That makes sense.
and it's also the preseason when these guys don't play that much. But we don't take a preseason. We're always ready to go, which is why you should like and subscribe to this podcast on YouTube, Spotify. Follow Les on his TikTok where he does little sports edifications, for lack of a better term. That's a good thing, Les. Don't look at me like that. At
I was just
Beans,
gonna say, call them side quests.
is it Beans Dad 18 or
Beans
018?
Dad 018.
And you can find us on Spotify, on YouTube, and wherever your favorite podcasts are sold. We are the Less is More Sports Talk podcast, and we are getting ready to wrap it up. Have a great college football Saturday, and we'll see you all with another episode real soon.
Of all those nice passes that AR made, he couldn't hit one of them to AD Mitchell.
Not one.
Not one.
We
That was
can't.
sad.
Texas already won by how many points? We can't let you have everything, Les.
Why
Yeah,
not?
an Xavier Worthy touchdown. We can't.
Yeah,
Two.
That was already
Two.
too many. All
Cam
right.
Taylor Britt's talking